You're watching Simply Soccer. Today, we're going over soccer volleying technique. Who doesn't love a great volley goal? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to volley properly and start scoring more goals with your volleys. Dipping volleys. Dipping volleys is the more commonly used volley technique in football. This is because it is much easier to control the ball and put power on it in some occasions. Although this is in my eyes one of the easier volleying techniques, it is in no way simple. The goal is to hit the ball a little bit higher than you would normally and have it dip back down on goal. Let's go over what it looks like to correctly do a dipping volley, what part of your foot you should be using, and also where on the ball you should be striking. Here are a couple of slow-mo examples of me hitting a dipping volley. I want you to concentrate on what part of my foot I am using. As you can see here, I'm using the top of my foot close to my laces, and you'll also notice that my ankle is locked with my toes pointing down. Let's take a look at this a little more closely. Alright guys, so we're going over a few more things you need to keep in mind if you want to correctly do dipping volleys, and I highly recommend you pay attention here because this is a great technique to know and can make you very dangerous in matches. So here's the general area you want to be hitting it with your foot. It's the center of your foot near the laces. If you go too far towards your toes, you're not going to get the power and accuracy you want. Same goes for the sides. You want it in the middle of your foot here. Now, another important thing to realize is you need to lock your ankle. This goes for pretty much any shooting technique, but especially for these volleys. If your ankle is floppy, if it's not locked, you're going to get nowhere near the power you need, and you're definitely not going to get the direction. So let's take a look at the ball and where you should be striking it. Now, it's no surprise that you should be striking the middle of the ball. If you strike obviously too far low, it goes way up. And if you strike too far on top of the ball, it goes way down and bounces into the ground and loses a lot of power. Now, there are a few ways you can actually hit it in the middle. I do one of these. I cut across the ball, but if you want a dip that just goes up and then back down and just has top spin on it, you need to hit up and across the ball pretty much in a straight line. If you don't hit it in a straight line and you cut across it, so long as you hit the middle, you will get some spin, but you should still be able to hit it on target. For example, I like to hit across the ball from right to left, which causes it to spin this direction, which will make it spin to the right. And if you hit across it the other way, of course, you'll spin to the left. Now, these aren't necessarily bad. You can definitely use these to your advantage by trying to curl it to the far post or something of that nature. I just want you to be aware of what does what when you hit it on certain spots on the ball. The last thing I'll leave you with is make sure you don't lean back when you're doing this technique. That's going to cause your ball to rocket up in the air, and this is the main thing I see a lot of people making mistakes with when they're doing this kind of volley, is that they're leaning way too far back, which is causing their foot to get way under the ball, which is of course causing it to rise. Okay guys, so if you do all of these things, prevent yourself from leaning back, you should be striking the ball very, very solidly and hitting some very good dipping volleys. Drop volleys. Drop volleys I consider a little more difficult than dipping volleys, but they are still incredibly useful. You can generate a lot of power with a drop volley and a lot of spin if you wish as well. Your timing has to be spot on in order to perform one properly. We'll take a closer look in a moment. Here is a slow-mo look at a drop volley. Remember, timing is key here. As you can see, I am about to strike the ball very shortly after it has hit the ground. It only has the opportunity to bounce up a little bit before I strike it. Okay guys, we're going over drop volleys now, or half volleys as some people call it. This is going to be very similar to dipping volleys, but we'll recap a few things. Again, you want to be hitting it with the top of your foot, not your toes, not the sides. That's how you're going to generate the power and accuracy you want. Lock your ankle. With most shooting techniques, if you can't lock your ankle, you will struggle, so make sure you're learning that, and make sure you're consciously aware of your locked ankle when you're volleying or shooting. Make sure you are concentrating very hard on locking your ankle. For some of you, following through and landing on your kicking foot might help for this technique, but it's not necessary. It's something that might help and you could do just to tweak your technique a bit. Try it out and see if that works for you. Now, as far as contact area on the ball, it's going to be again in the middle. Very similar, or actually exactly the same as dipping volleys. Now, one of the things I want to mention with dipping volleys is a lot of the time you're not going to be able to hit it straight on, as my very accurate drawing here depicts. Now, you're not going to be able to hit it straight on, which is going to get you that lightning arrow straight volley. A lot of the time you're going to have to cut across it. So keep this in mind when you go to do this, because it's going to determine where you hit the ball. Now, this is okay, but I found a lot of the time when I get a chance for a half volley is when the ball is coming at me this way, or the other way. There's very few occasions when the ball is bouncing forward and I have a chance to drop volley it. Usually it's coming to the side, and that means I'm most likely going to strike across the ball in some way. Now, this is okay, just make sure you're hitting towards the middle of the ball, and make sure you're aiming a little left or right to where you actually want the ball to end up, because you will generate spin. Now, one of the most important things about this technique is the timing. If you mistime this technique, unfortunately, the ball is not going to go where you want it to go. You need to be hitting the ball almost directly after it's hit the ground and it's bounced a little bit back up. That's when you want to be hitting it. Take a look at some of the examples, or the shooting examples I showed you. You'll see that most of the time when I'm doing this, I'm hitting it almost directly after it's bounced. If I hit it before it bounces, I'll hit the top of the ball, which is going to cause the ball to go down, which I don't want. And if I hit it too far after the ball is bounced, I'm going to most likely hit towards the bottom, which is going to cause it to rise. Okay, guys, so just keep all of these things in your head, or keep all these ideas in mind when you're going to do drop volleys and half volleys, and realize this is a little more difficult of a technique. It's not that easy. It is going to take a lot of practice, but if you keep these things in mind and you keep trying to hit it in the middle with a locked ankle towards the middle of the ball, and you time it correctly, I have no doubt in my mind that you can definitely learn to be really good with this technique. Thanks guys so much for watching. You can hit that subscribe button if you're new to Simplysoccer to get new videos every week. If you want some more help with your shooting, click on the video in the bottom left for how to curve a football. And if you want some help on your long distance shooting for technique, click on the bottom right video. Remember, you can vote for the next video down below. See you next time.